So we now know that dielectric materials are polarized. We also know what kind of electric stresses you can expect in a dielectric medium. Now let us look at what are the boundary conditions that you would have at interfaces of dielectrics. Let us say we have two dielectric materials. Region 1 has a material has a permittivity epsilon 1 and region 2 has a permittivity epsilon 2. In that case, we have the relation from integration E dot dl equal to 0 along this cross section is along this rectangular imaginary box. We have the relation that the tangential component of the electric field. See, the electric field will have a normal component and a tangential component. The normal component of the tangential field will be continuous across boundaries, which means the tangential field of E1 and the tangential field of E2 will have to be equal no matter what are the permittivities of region 1 and region 2. On the other hand, if you look at the normal components, we have a relationship in terms of the flux density. Remember, dN1 is equal to epsilon 1 En1 and dN2 is epsilon 2 En2. dN1 minus dN2 is equal to rho s. What is rho s? Rho s is the free surface charge density on the interface. That means the normal component of the electric field is not equal across, not continuous across a boundary between two dielectrics. And what is the difference? The difference is in their flux density components. dN1 minus dN2 is equal to the free surface charge density on the interface. If there is no free surface on the interface, then dN1 also will be equal to dN2. Remember, when we are talking about rho s, we are talking about free charges. We are not talking about induced or bound charges. There might be induced charges, there might be bound charges. Those are not to be taken into account. dN1 minus dN2 must be equal to the free surface charge density at the interface between two dielectrics. Now, if you have a flux line which is going through, let's say it's going through D2, going through material 2, which has a permittivity of epsilon 2, at the interface, it will be refracted, very much like the refraction of light at an interface, at an interface between two optical media. And what will it be? dN1 is equal to d1 cos theta 1 will be equal to d2 cos theta 2 will be equal to dN2. So therefore, the tangential component d tan 1 by d tan 2 is equal to d1 sin theta 1 by d2 sin theta 2 is equal to epsilon 1 by epsilon 2, which gives me the relation between the tangential tangents of the angles theta 1 and theta 2. Tan theta 1 by tan theta 2 is equal to epsilon 1 by epsilon 2. So essentially, the flux line is refracted at the interface in the ratio of their permittivities. So this is basically Snell's law of refraction of flux lines at an interface. Now, let us look at these three equations. We have already encountered these three equations. This is Gauss's law, Maxwell's first equation, which gives me divergence of T is equal to rho. D is equal to epsilon E is a constitutive relation relating the flux density and the electric field intensity in a dielectric medium. E is equal to the gradient of potential V or phi. So E is equal to minus grad phi. Now, if you combine these three equations together, you get this differential equation. Del square phi is equal to minus rho by epsilon. What is del square? Del square is the Laplacian operator. Del square del x square plus del square del y square plus del square del z square is equal to, is your Laplacian operator. So, the electric field in a dielectric medium is governed by Poisson's equation, which is given by del square phi is equal to minus rho by epsilon. Rho is the free volume charge density inside a dielectric volume. It does not take into account any bound charges. If there are no free charges inside the volume of the dielectric, if there is no charge density, if charge density is 0, Poisson's equation reduces to Laplace's equation, which is del square phi equal to 0. So the electric field solution within a dielectric material can be obtained by solving Laplace's or Poisson's equation. Now you might say, why can't we do that using Coulomb's law? Yes, you can compute the field inside a dielectric using Coulomb's law or using Gauss's law. We have all done that in our undergraduates. We know how to do it. But the problem is this: in a real life scenario, if you need to apply Coulomb's law, you need to know the charge distribution. If you need to apply Gauss's law, you need to know the charge distribution. How many times in real life do you know the charge distribution? If you have a simple thing like a capacitor, do you know how much charge is there on the capacitor plate? Do you know how that charge is distributed? And that's for a capacitor. If you have complicated scenarios, you have irregular structures, irregular non-uniform materials. Do you know how the charge is distributed? You do not. So if you do not know the charge distribution, there is no way that you can compute the electric fields inside a dielectric material using Coulomb's law or Gauss's law. What do you know? You know the potential. When you put charges in a dielectric medium, it results in a potential distribution. It results in a potential difference. And this potential difference you may know. If you have a parallel plate capacitor, you do not know the charge distribution on the parallel plates, but you know that you have applied plus V and minus V on the capacitor plates. So once you know the potential, this potential can be used as a boundary condition to solve a differential equation. Look at this equation. So basically what I'm saying is that while Coulomb's law or Gauss's law can be used to compute the electric field inside a material, it is not not doable in practice because we do not know the charge distributions, and therefore we obtain the electric field distribution by solving Poisson's or Laplace's equation. Now, this equation is a partial differential equation. And any partial differential equation, to have a unique solution, we need to know the boundary conditions. So your electrostatic fields problem reduces to a boundary value problem where you're going to solve a partial differential equation subject to certain boundary conditions, and that will give you the potential distribution. Once you have the potential distribution, you can calculate the electric field distribution as the gradient of the potential map. So therefore, if we need to find the electric field distribution inside a dielectric material, we need to know how to solve Poisson's equation. And in the next class, we will see how Poisson's equation can be solved in engineering problems.